Beyond the gates of mighty kingdoms lies a vast, unexplored world. The World of Warcraft.
Hey everybody, it's Mergle, and today I just wanted to go over an article that I found because I was looking up the history of WoW, and I thought about doing like maybe a history video over all the things that changed and stuff. It'd be fun. At least that's what I thought. But anyways, this is an article that was created in the Computer Gaming magazine back when World of Warcraft was first announced. So it's from 2001 because World of Warcraft was first announced in 2001 of September of 2001. I'm saying it backwards. In any case, as you can see, it says Blizzard's massively multiplayer RPG revealed. So let's get down to the article, which starts on 70. And here it is. World of Warcraft by Jeff Green. What will Blizzard do next? It's a question we love to ask those of us who have become enslaved by their addictive games, and one we always get wrong. So when Blizzard announced that they were going to reveal their next project this September, the speculation ran rampant. As usual, as fanboys and industry dorks alike started guessing at the possibilities, StarCraft 2, massive multiplayer Diablo, a first-person shooter. This is why I like reading this, because it's funny to see what actually ended up happening. Obviously, they did make a first-person shooter, which we know as Overwatch now, but that's why I wanted to read it. I thought you might enjoy. So, anyways, the answer was finally revealed on September 2nd at ECTS in London, which is like a gaming convention from back then. And as usual, everyone was wrong again. Coming next from Blizzard is World of Warcraft, a massively multiplayer RPG set in the Warcraft universe, and although no one expected this, it is an exciting announcement as they could have made. Finally, Blizzard is swooping down from that eagle-eye view and letting us play inside one of their fantasy universes. Finally, instead of commanding troops from above, we get to be mighty heroes ourselves, creating our own personal legends. It is Blizzard's most ambitious game to date, and over the next 10 pages, the green skin CGW peons are ready to take you on a tour of the now living kingdom of Azeroth in this exclusive first look. Zug zug. So, hope you enjoy. As you can see here, this is a first shot probably of Ironforge in its very, very infant stages. You can see all the changes that were made in the time since it's been born, or at least the detail that's been updated. So, moving to this next page. The Tauren. Meet the Tauren. In Warcraft 3, Blizzard will introduce a third race for player characters. The Tauren, huge creatures who live in a peaceful tribal society. They are a wise, nomadic race who ally with the orcs in Warcraft 3 because they identify with the orc struggle to retain their traditions and identity. The Tauren live in the grassy lands of central Kalimdor. Their only natural enemies are brutal centaurs of Kalimdor who have raided Tauren villages for generations. And then it says, a human decked out in footman armor. Expect to see many of your favorite Warcraft units throughout the game. This looks like a Stormwind Guard hanging out in Stranglethorn. So, there you go. Hey, I guess, you know, you can maybe find them there sometimes, yeah. As any serious Warcraft geek knows, Blizzard has long had a huge story in place for its flagship universe, but most of that story never appeared in the games themselves. But the Warcraft 1 and 2 designers were obviously frustrated storytellers because they packed the manuals and subsequent novels with details of a deeply thought-out fantasy world, somewhat reminiscent of Raymond's Feast's Great Rift War saga. That has just begged for further enrichment. Blizzard tried to build on the story in the never-released Warcraft Adventures, which is a game that, unfortunately, never made it. It would be nice to see them make that now. And the fact that they're coming back to it again, this time in an online RPG, just proves the level of their obsession. The simple fact is that Warcraft is our flagship gig, said Chris Metzen, longtime Blizzard veteran and keeper of the arcane flame of all Warcraft continuity. Diablo kicks ass, StarCraft kicks ass, I'm partial to all of them, but ultimately, we were like, fuck this, or no, fuck it, this is it. The Warcraft universe is Blizzard. There wasn't much to think about. It was a perfect fit for this kind of game. And while it may seem odd for Blizzard to be announcing another new Warcraft game while they're still struggling to finish Warcraft 3, now bumped to 2002, the fact is World of Warcraft has been in development for a year already, with a team of nearly 40 people working on it full time. When we flew down to check on the game in mid-August, the team demoed it live on a running server with other Blizzard employees for a full hour, and the great news is that while World of Warcraft may represent a quantum leap in ambition, scope, and technology over anything they've done previously at root, this is still going to be a Blizzard game with all the simplicity, ease of use, and in theory, fun that implies. Said, dude, how cool would it be to be in this world, to be those heroes? I think the Tauren saying that, or it's just one of the employees saying it. From the moment you launch World of Warcraft, Blizzard aims to make the experience as simple as in all of their other games. Like all MMORPGs, you'll start out by creating your character. At this point, Blizzard is announcing only 3 of the player races, human, orc, and Tauren, which we know they introduced many more with the actual release, so they only intentionally had human, orc, and Tauren at the time. The first 2 we all know about, while the latter is a race being introduced in Warcraft 3. See sidebar, and it's referring to that little note about Taurens. Players will have a healthy number of options for making their characters stand out physically because the team realizes that in MMORPGs, as in real life, looks do matter. It's kind of funny because we know how much we're actually allowed to change our player's appearance. But anyways, as such, Blizzard is including loads of options for character creation, including numerous facial choices, hair, or in Tauren's cases, horns, and styles, skin colors, and on to the next page. Even tattoos. So we can see a Tauren there. He's wearing the epic axe. A Tauren equipped with a wicked Dragon Maul battle axe in the dense jungles of Stranglethorn. Warcraft players will recognize the goblin Zeppelin crashed into a tree behind him. So, armor and weaponry will be huge, of course, and as in Diablo, the acquisition and wearing of unique, badass items will be key to making your character stand out. Blizzard won't reveal character classes yet, except to say that they'll fit into the Warcraft universe, so you can at least expect a standard mix of warriors, spellcasters, and rangers, and you can look to the Warcraft 2 and 3 when it ships manuals for further ideas. The most interesting part about character creation in World of Warcraft is what you don't do. At the beginning, you don't assign any skill points at all. That's right, no numbers. You'll pick your race, your look, and your class, and then you jump into the game. So it goes down a little. We want this all to be really, really simple, said Bill Roper, another longtime Blizzard veteran, and who at the time long ago provided all voices to Warcraft 1, we don't want you to make choices about things without any information. We don't want you suddenly putting your points into stats and skills that you have no idea about. Much like Diablo 2, we're going to start you off with the right stats for your character type. But as soon as you play and start learning things, then you'll get to assign points. And it'll feel like an informed decision. Okay. Back when we had the talent system that was much more fun. Let's be clear, this isn't an attempt to dumb down the RPG elements of the game. Don't worry, we did that well enough ourselves. It's simply a matter of Blizzard trying to do what they always do, which is create a game that's easy to learn and hard to master. As many on the team repeated throughout the demo. Even though we love the current massive multiplayer game, said Roper, and the truth is that they still appeal to the hardcore. The interface is very difficult, the learning curve is too steep, and they punish you too severely too early. Well, I mean, they did a lot of that in vanilla. It's like Mr. Roper was obviously pitching the expansions after Wrath of the Lich King. Okay, project led Shane Dabin. Oh my gosh. Do a dab right now for Shane. For lots of people, you gotta remember, it's still scary to ever go online, yet alone play a massive multiplayer game. We want to give players a ramp up period to feel comfortable first. All the way up to level 40, right? They gotta get comfortable running around before you get them out. Okay, so scroll down again. And we can see here, looks like more of concept art for maybe Stranglethorn again. A Harvest Golem. That's definitely Stranglethorn right here, but let's see, what does this little part say? Stranglethorn Jungle, a previously unseen area in Azeroth, shows off the bright color palette Blizzard is going for in World of Warcraft. The large green fellow on the left is not mere shrubbery. He's a badass monster called a Treant, and he was the end boss of a multi-part quest. The Treant shakes the player's screen slightly when he's nearby and shakes it a lot when you kill him. Oh, I can see him. I see him now. This is one of the large giant tree guys from like the Night Elf thing. I didn't even notice. Okay, so let's read this part. Once you create your character and enter Azeroth, it becomes clear how serious Blizzard is. The team has created a brand new 3D engine for the game, which you can view from first or third person's perspective, easily switchable, and with the mouse wheel, excuse me. Does anybody play in first person? And it is a marvel. Unlike nearly every other massive multiplayer game around World of Warcraft, it is not going for a photorealistic look with lots of earth tones. It is instead opting for a more surreal and colorful look that is faithful to the Warcraft palette, and that feels, as Roper put it, almost like you're inside a painting. I gotta say, WoW graphics were pretty good in terms of how they made it for the time. For Metzen, this look was crucial. It was a very specific goal for us to glom onto the Warcraft look and try to extrapolate into a first-person universe. We were looking for something more iconic. We wanted a level of mightiness not found in other games, and that's what this game is about. Mighty dudes doing great deeds. To give the world a live feel, the team has added large environment effects like moving water and skies, along with more subtle effects like swaying cobwebs and flying butterflies and birds. More important, all the monsters and NPCs in the game world are always doing something. NPCs don't stand around waiting for you to come to them. They have assignments such as patrolling, guarding, and hunting. That's not necessarily true. There's a lot of standing NPCs. You may even see a line of peons chopping wood. You traverse the world mostly on foot at first, though high-level characters will gain items like teleport scrolls. Apparently they introduced that into Mage with portals and such. The world is going... Yeah, plus they didn't mention mounts, so they must have not had that concept yet. The world is going to be huge, encompassing, and at least a good portion of Azeroth as depicted in the Warcraft 2 manual, along with new areas depicted in Warcraft 3, though Blizzard declined to be more specific on it at this point. Perhaps the coolest element of travel and feature that all veteran massively multiplayer games are going to shout out about is that there are no load times between zones. Which is, pretty cool. Like, the world is streaming as in Diablo 2 so that you actually experience a smooth transition as you move from one environment to the next with no load screen whatsoever. We actually saw this work, so unless Blizzard was using... And then it pauses because it goes on to the next screen. This is what the interface first looked like. So this is the basic setup that they had originally. You can see the iconic spellbook with the ranks. Remember when you had to buy ranks? This is you. The red bar is health. The blue is mana. To cast spells, you use items on yourself. Just click on the icon on your face. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, okay. So you must have had to have dragged items to your face at one point. You can drag spells and items into the action bar. Oh, the action bar was here. Okay, so you probably had to keybind stuff on that. The cursor is context sensitive. For example, when you drag it over a monster, it turns into a sword. When you've killed that monster, the cursor turns into a gauntlet holding a bag, indicating you can now loot that corpse. So they already had that element into the game back then. Your paper doll and backpack icons appear in the lower right. You can right click on them to drag items and drop them immediately into your backpack. Oh, so you had to drag stuff into your backpack before, apparently, in this interface. When you pick up armor, it automatically fits itself into the proper slot on your body. Wow, you didn't even have to equip stuff back then. I guess they just wanted you to immediately equip it. So that was apparently a feature. Your current location, the game's day-night cycle, you can mouse over it to get the exact game world time. As you locate places in the world, they're added to your mini-map. You can zoom the map in and out. So that feature was similar. So let's see, it says Blizzard was using smoke and mirrors to fool us. They've already solved a major MMORPG headache. In addition, every player will have the ability to bind to a location via huge binding stones scattered throughout the world. So you won't have to beg another player to do it for you. Oh, they must... Is that what's saying about Hearthstones? Okay, we've learned a lot from Battle.net over the years, both good and bad. Hopefully we can use that knowledge here. By your command. So what exactly are you going to be doing in World of Warcraft? Combat, obviously, will play a huge role. Yes, there will be a player versus player, and yes, you can hold it. You can avoid it if you want. Well, they didn't let you avoid it in Mist and Pandaria if you wanted your legendary. Blizzard is promising, however, the battles will happen faster and more often than is typical in the genre. It won't be quite as frenetic, never heard that word, as Diablo 2, but on the other hand, you won't have to wait an hour to lure one creature out and then spend 10 minutes trying to kill it. We don't feel like you should be reading a book or doing your laundry during combat, said Romper. Well, that obviously changed at one point, because boss fights can take upwards of 15 minutes in some cases. Death is going to be made somewhat less painful than in the current crop of MMORPGs. We want it to be not terribly jarring, said Dabiri. You gotta be sorry when you die, but you shouldn't feel like you just got punched in the stomach and want to cry for a week. You want to jump right back in and try to be better rather than shut the computer down and think, this game screwed me. Blizzard is also stressing, however, that players will be able to gain experience from activities other than combat, such as going on quests, practicing trade skills. Well, that never made it in the game. I mean, if you count that herbalism and mining give XP now, but That wasn't for a long time, I don't think. Helping other players, and maybe even just exploring. Quests will range from easy solo missions that you can do in 1 or 2 hours. Holy shit. I mean, I know a couple quests taking a long time, but gosh, I don't know. To large-scale quests that may involve players roaming all over the world for weeks. My goodness. It must be referring to raid quests. Blizzard demonstrated a sample quest for us, a multi-part one that required us to travel to different locations. The original quest given to us by an NPC is to destroy a strange tree beast that attacks folks out in a jungle. On our way, we discover that we need a specific weapon, a flaming blade called the Fire Star, to defeat him. But that... And then, of course, there's little adverts, because this is a magazine. Oh. See, there we got a guy running up to Ironforge. A human player will make his way uphill toward a huge keep in Ironforge. World of Warcraft will give Azeroth a sense of scale the universe has never seen. That's what this game is doing, all about mighty dudes doing great deeds. The hilt and the blade have been separated, so continuing with killing the monster. To get the hilt, we have to battle some monsters in a local graveyard, and to get the blade, we need to find the thief in town who has stolen it. Once we have both pieces, a blacksmith forges them together for us, and we're on our way, and the bonus after we've killed the tree beast is that now we have a flaming sword, complete with particle effects, and that we could show it off to other players in the world. Well, that quest must have not made it into the game. A human fights 2 ghouls. Damage appears on screen, leaving the chat window free for its intended purposes. So, there you go. For the Alliance, of course, the game is really all about other players. Blizzard is focusing on much attention on developing tours for participating in the community and working with others. One exciting concept they're introducing is that of ritual magic, spells that will require multiple casters to use. Example they demonstrated for us was a ritual spell that opens a portal to a special zone. To do this, you need multiple casters because different players possess different spells that are needed to be cast together. The reward for participating in such a ritual is that all casters then can travel through the portal, but access is barred to anyone else. So if you're one of the few people in the world who can do a certain ritual magic spells, everyone will know it and you're going to be a popular player. Unfortunately, that never must have made it to the game, because we did get, like, the stones to summon people, and we also got, warlock stones to summon people, but, I mean, we never got any kind of portal that required multiple people that I can think of. I can't think of anything right now that was like that, so, unfortunately, it looks like that didn't make it. Another good reason to group with other players is that every character class will come with an innate passive ability. When you join a group, that ability is shared automatically with everyone in the group. Well, they didn't do that for a long time. You had to have buffs, but then it come Legion, they finally actually went down the... Was it Legion or WoD? But they went down the route that you no longer had to cast buffs. So, that was disappointing. I liked the idea of buffing. So, they added it, then they removed it, and finally went this route that they had 16 years ago. So passive abilities, when you join a group, is shared among everybody in the group. For example, a ranger's ability may be that his minimap is there it goes, filled in more detail than maps of other classes. If you group with a ranger, you will receive that bonus as long as you stay with him, because different races will have different classes that will also encourage players of different races to band together. So let's look at this real quick. Tauren and human players band together to fight gnolls. Oh, we were supposed to band together with the Alliance. Near the Duskwood border, this bridge will actually take you to another zone, but unlike other MMORPGs, you will get there without a load screen. So a Tauren and a human were fighting together to kill those gnolls. And we can see an orc. Human and human, it must be. Unless this is another orc. So that was their original intention. We were supposed to be fighting, but they must have changed that element. We don't feel like you should be reading... Oh, this is just quoting from before. Orcs and humans banding together. We're not sure, and Blizzard isn't telling isn't telling. World of Warcraft actually takes place about 5 years after the conclusion of Warcraft 3, and whether these mortal enemies can now live in peace is a plot spoiler that Blizzard will not yet reveal. We obviously know how that turned out. Differences in factions definitely will be a part of the game, however, and how you conduct yourself, of course, will also affect other denizens of Azeroth how other denizens of Azeroth will respond to you. Sorry. Okay, so we can see two humans and an orc standing around looking cool in Goldshire. Well, they do that together nowadays. Don't worry, just head to Moonguard for a bit. Orc and human players will be able to play together. Oh, well, that didn't happen. But you'll have to work on that relationship to make it happen. Duskwood is a creepy forest to the south of human capital. Blizzard is hoping to make each zone or each area completely distinct with a graphical look that puts you inside of a painting. So, it all sounds good now in theory, but will Blizzard be able to pull this off, avoiding all technical problems that have plagued nearly every other game of this type? So far, they remain confident. We've learned a lot from Battle.net over the years, both good and bad, said Roper, and it's still the largest online multiplayer game service, so we have a lot to draw upon. Obviously, we're not going to be running World of Warcraft on Diablo 2 realms because it's a completely different paradigm, but we can utilize the full breadth and scope of our knowledge on getting hundreds of thousands of players online playing with each other really simply. Blizzard will be setting up multiple realms on servers around the world for World of Warcraft, and the company plans to maintain a full-time staff with the sole Blizzard's no list. When World of Warcraft team first started the project, they got together and talked about things they don't like in other MMORPGs. The result, you won't see any of those things in their game, or at least that's what they're saying now. Here's the list Blizzard is promising you won't see in World of Warcraft. Load times between zones. The need to camp for crucial monsters. If you're a mount collector, they lied. They lied. Too much downtime between battles. No, just lots of downtime between patches. Food and drink needed to stay alive, though these things can help heal you if you're found. If you are found. What? Rats or rabbits to kill. Bill Roper fleeing with mighty dwarven warrior toward a guard to save me from a rat. That doesn't make me feel epic or mighty. Well, they got some really weird bosses. I can tell you, old Bill, you were wrong. You have some weird things. There's a vicious vampire rabbit that kicks your ass in Darkmoon. I mean, come on, you know. So anyways, let's continue this. So, staff with the soul. Here it is. See a human footman. Azeroth. This is what it was. The first initial look at Azeroth's map. Here's Blizzard's latest version of their fantasy world of Azeroth. They're basing the geographical layout on the maps from the strategy games, but are adding areas like Stranglethorn we've never seen before. A human character casts Word of Recall to return to his binding point. All characters will be able to bind themselves to a region. You won't have to seek someone's help to do it. They must have changed that to Hearthstone. So anyways, they went sole responsibility of continuing to create new content for the game. We think of it as an amusement park motif, said Metzen. We want you to keep coming back and again and keep trying new things. And our job will be to keep the line short and keep changing up the rides. Blizzard is promising to conduct extensive beta testing and swears that they're going to make their time with it. The beta test is actually the big X factor here, said Roper. We can't tell you if it's going to be 1 month or 1 year. We put the biggest pressure on ourselves. If a game ships on time but it doesn't work and it's not fun, then who cares? We've always felt it's much more important to get a game right when it comes out. So that 4 years later, people are still playing it because it's a good game. So what does that mean for a release date? It means, unfortunately, that there isn't one. No matter what date you tell, you're not going to believe us, said Roper. We don't have a release date, and that's the only lousy thing we've heard all day. for the king. With World of Warcraft, Blizzard is veering from familiar terrain, entering an extremely competitive gaming landscape fraught with hazards as the frazzled teams of EverQuest, Anarchy Online, World War II Online, and other worlds attest, but it's a challenge that clearly has Blizzard jazz. Huge communities have always built up right here around our games from Warcraft 2 on, said Roper. Every time we've come up with a new product we would work on, we can better integrate the community and get people to interact. So a massive multiplayer game, is just the next logical step. What's really exciting to us is sitting around and talking about a game that won't have a chat room. You'll now finally be able to talk to other players as your character all the time. It's exciting to us as developers and gamers. Just more pictures right here of World of Warcraft. And that part is why Blizzard always gets it right. At root, they're just geeky gamers like the rest of us. They're making World of Warcraft because this is the game that they want to play. There's so much to this universe, said Dabiri. So much we want to explore. All we could think as we started this project was, dude, how cool would it be in that world to be those heroes and adventure in places we fought all those massive battles in. Oh, this is the Dark Portal. Orcs, the sunset over the Swamp of Horrors near the Orcs' Dark Portal. And Orcs vs. humans in the Ironforge Mountains. Dude, we couldn't agree more, so hurry up and finish Warcraft 3 already, and let us into the world. The Kingdom of Azeroth needs heroes like us. And then they speak about the Warcraft 3 update. But, that is it. And that's all there is. Hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, it was just fun. I was looking at Warcraft history, and I thought about making like a history video. And I thought this was a neat... I mean, I never seen this magazine back then. At least not this update about it. So I thought it was just something cool to share. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoy. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.